welcome back to the channel. And once again, you guys got the last full card prediction video to 100 likes. So yeah, get this one to 100 likes, and I'll continue to drop my bets every week. And also check in with my prop of the week featuring Pro Smoke bets. I drop a prop of the week, and that's a bet itself. So on my side, that's a bet. Like I bet my props of the week. I might put in a parlay, I might moneyline it, but definitely look to check out my prop of the week. That's another bet you get every week. So you look at prop of the week, usually dropping like the day before the fights. You'll get to see another bet I have for the week, and it's usually, again, it's gonna be further in the week, so I can do things outside of money line. So it'll be a prop. So yeah, be on the lookout for the prop of the week, because again, that's another bet right there, or a bet parlay piece right there. But yeah, you guys got it to 100 likes. Get this video to 100 likes, and I'll continue to drop bets every single week. And also another important information that I'll say every single week: if you guys see a fight has fell out, just come back to this video, check the description, check the comment section, and I'll drop if any fight falls out, get changed. More particularly, a fight gets changed. If a fight just falls out and off the card, there's no point in me making nothing extra. But again, if a fight changes, like this guy gets injured, someone else steps in, and I need to predict another fight, check in the description, check in the comment section. I'll have a video of me predicting the latest fight that updated. If there are any updates, there are usually going to be some updates. But if there are updates, again, check the description of this video and check the comment section of this video. And that's the same for every single full card prediction video, week after week after week after week. Just check the description, check the comment section, because I will update it, because I do predict every single UFC fight, every single UFC fight card. So yeah, check it, and the updates will be there if there is a need for updates. But yeah, again, thanks for getting that video to 100 likes, and thanks in advance for getting this video to 100 likes. And shortly soon we'll be getting to the full card predictions. But last but not least, again, you guys got it to 100 likes the last video, so I'm gonna give you my predictions. Not feeling so hot about this week in particular. Again, I might feel hot about some props for this week, but as far as money lines, not feeling so hot about these money lines this week. So it's not gonna be a whole lot of bets, or maybe not as many, or maybe not as strong of bets on my side for this week. But I'll give you two. I'll give you one for this card, and I'll give you a parlay that's for some fights later on, not for this card, but future cards in this month. So you'll get two you'll get two parlays in this video. But yeah, without further ado, you guys got it to 100 likes. As I repeated myself for the 9,000th time. But yeah, you got the video to last video to 100 likes. So here are my two parlays. All right, so last week y'all complained about the audio a little bit, so I'm gonna hold this thing right by my face the whole time, or try to hold it by my face the whole time. But yeah, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 312, Plessis versus Strickland II. And yeah, before I get into the predictions, one last thing. Again, I'm not gonna have a whole lot of confidence on this card at all, to be honest. It's a fight with a lot of newbies, a lot of shaky matchups, so don't expect this to be such a confident card. I probably still will do good regardless, but I would definitely let you guys know in advance. This is not, I don't feel like this is going to be, well, at the very least, it's not one of my stronger confident cards. I'm probably still going to do well, but off the top, this is not one of my stronger confident cards. So take that for what you will. But yeah, let's get right into it. First fight we have in the flyweight division, we got Hyun-Sung Park versus Tumendemberel. That's probably the best I've ever said his name. It didn't take 2-3 takes. I said it in one time, but I'm not even gonna say his name no more. So yeah, I'm going Hyun-Sung Park to beat him. Low confidence. Yeah, Park. It seemed like his opponent, the opponent of Park, he's well-rounded enough, kind of. But as far as the threat-wise, it seemed like he's more so just a puncher. It doesn't seem like he has the greatest arsenal of strikes, so like he's just looking for one big punch. With Hyun-Sung Park, is a well-rounded fighter. He could strike, he could grapple, he could wrestle, and I think Hyun-Sung Park can hold his own with like Tumendemberel on the feet, and be able to mix in the grappling and grind out a decision over Tumendemberel. So yeah, we're dealing with, very much fresh faces. I think this is what Park's second fight. It was like both of their second fights. So again, you can't feel too confident unless it's like a perfect stylistic matchup and you guys you really had intel on. But yeah, I gotta go with the undefeated, more well-rounded fighter, more accomplished fighter in Hyun-Sung Park to mix it up and grind out a decision over his opponent. So in this one, I have Hyun-Sung Park via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Quillian Salkilld versus Ashul Jubli. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Quillian Salkilld to beat Ashul Jubli. And again, this might seem like, oh, this is my lock of the week or whatever with Salkilld, but again, we're dealing with fresh faces. And Jubli's not no scrub, to be honest. I think Jubli might be the more technical striker, might be. I think it's a very close battle. And Jubli's underrated in the grappling department as well. But I think where Salkilld has a clear advantage, I think Salkilld is definitely much tougher. Jubli showed in the last fight he looked very good. And then when his opponent just started making barking noises, did anything to just throw off his psyche, you saw he just got very mentally weak, mentally checked out, and didn't even know how to defend basic telegraph strikes. Like he got mentally broken down. Like he was fully ahead in the fight, dominating, and then just his opponent walking him down and barking in his face made him like lose all sense of awareness. So yeah, Jubli's a skilled fighter. He's definitely not no scrub, but that mental weakness is going to be a big issue. Also, this is more so in Salkild's area of the world. So, Salkild's looking to put on a big performance. Going there with, yeah. But yeah, you get the point. I'm not going to say too much. But yeah, I think Salkilld, skill-wise, I think they're relatively close. But, yeah, I think Salkilld has a lot to prove, and he wants to put on a show here, and he's tougher. In a fight, if it's close on paper, which it might not even be close on paper, to be honest, but in my opinion, I would respectfully say it's close on paper. Yeah, it's going to come down to who wants it more, who could push further, and who could dig deep, and who could break the other. And Jubli has shown, literally in his last fight, that he can be broken. I think Salkilld can do the same and definitely could do better. Salkild's a solid well-rounded grappler, well-rounded striker. I think he has more power as well. And yeah, I think somewhat of a competitive fight early, but I think when Salkilld starts to put the pressure, put the power, and put the press on Jubli, I start to see Jubli crack, and I see Salkilld getting a second round TKO. So in this one, I have Quillian Salkilld via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division. Well, I say like that, welterweight division. Nah, I made it sound even worse. But you're like, what language is this guy speaking? I'm gonna leave a dislike button, or I'm gonna leave a dislike because I can't understand him. But yeah, next fight, welterweight division, we got Kevin Jousset versus Jonathan Micallef. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Kevin Jousset to beat Jonathan Micallef. Yeah, there's definitely some big questions on both sides. I think on Micallef's side, it's the striking defense, it's the chin, it's the durability. On Jousset's side, he seemed like a well-rounded fighter, but has anybody really threatened him in the wrestling department so much or in the submission grappling department so much? Not really. So you can't really say, oh, he has passed that test. He has not passed that test. So it's like, it seemed like it's a mixed martial arts fight because they both have mixed it up before. But, vaguely speaking, it's like Jousset is a striker versus Micallef who's the grappler. Like Jousset's going to look to keep it on feet and break Micallef. Micallef's going to look to get the ground, whether to grind him out or to find a sub or TKO on the ground. That's what it seems like. But going Jousset, low confidence to beat Micallef. I think Jousset's well-rounded enough to be able to address the grappling enough that he'll be able to get the opportunities on the feet, be able to break down Micallef, and almost like a third round TKO. But I see a very close fight. I think Micallef's going to get off to a good start, has some very close rounds, maybe even a strong round between the first two. But I feel like Jousset is going to be able to really shut down his takedowns, press him, and break him down, connect, and put him out in the third round. So in this one, I got Kevin Jousset via third round TKO. Down to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Cody Steele versus Rongzhu. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Cody Steele to beat Rongzhu. And this is another pick where a lot of people probably be super confident in Cody Steele. I think the odds have him a big favorite as well. I think he's like minus 400, minus 495, I think. Don't quote me on that, but he's definitely not no minus 200, minus 300. He's like minus 400 something. So he's a very big favorite. So I believe people are very confident in him to win this fight. But I am not one of those people. I think Cody Steele is kind of in a similar category as Rinya Nakamura, in a way, where he probably had like some big overhand, some big flashy strike, like he has power and whatnot, and he's a good grappler at his core, but his takedown skills are not the best, to be honest, and he relies too much on his athleticism and his power, and it makes him look better than he is right now. Whereas, all honesty, he still needs a lot more development in his takedowns, his control, submission setups for MMA, his ground and pound for MMA, his striking fundamentals, his pacing. He's very flawed right now. If Rongzhu, I do think, is the cleaner, more fundamental striker, and if Cody Steele, gets caught up too much looking for the big shots, I could see him getting knocked out. I could see him getting picked apart. It could go very wrong for him. But I will lean Cody Steele. He's the fighter with all the momentum. He's hungry. He's young. I think he could patch up those flaws. And it's not like Rongzhu, again, it's coming off good momentum. It's not like Rongzhu has such a stellar UFC career or UFC history. Solid fighter, solid experience. I think he'll give Cody Steele a good test. But I'll say decision for Cody Steele. I think he's going to extend Cody Steele a bit. Give Cody Steele a fight that he can work on things, see where he needs to improve at. But unless Cody Steele is going to be able to grind out, probably land the bigger shots and probably be able to mix in a couple takedowns here and there. Not too many, but like maybe 1 or 2 takedowns. Still win a clear decision, but a competitive fight where, again, he's going to get shown some holes in his own game. And it's going to be a fight where he can build from it. Like, I need to work on this in my striking. My takedowns need to be better. My setups need to be better. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be like a lesson for him. It's going to be a fight he wins, in my opinion, but it's going to be a fight where he takes a lot from that he needs to take to grow. And I think this is a good time to take this fight or a fight like this, as opposed to jumping and running through some guys that may be higher ranked but easier stylistic matchups. And then you get advanced too far and you fight a guy like Rongzhu, but further along and better, and then you get whooped on, and then you can't recover from it. But yeah, I think he'll be able to get past Rongzhu. Not a whole lot of confidence in this one, but Cody Steele should win. So I think it goes distance, but I think Cody Steele gets his hand raised. And again, learn some lessons from this fight. So, in this one, I have Cody Steele via decision. Now on to our next fight. We have in the bantamweight division, we got Alexandre Topuria versus Kobe Thicknesse, or Thicknesse. That's a very interesting name. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Alexandre Topuria to beat Kobe Thicknesse, or Thicknesse. And yeah, if I can scroll up this whole card, which I am doing right now, literally, top to bottom, this is the fight that I have the absolute least confidence in as far as the fighter I'm picking, and that fighter is Topuria. He's only, 4-1, 5-1, not a whole lot of fights. Hasn't really beat anyone decent. Matter of fact, he has not beat anyone decent, and already has a loss. Kobe Thicknesse has, I think he had a pretty lengthy amateur background. He has had some grappling experience. He's been training along Volk. Ilya Topuria really just got here. His brother Topuria, so he can say, I'm training along the champion. That is my brother and such and such. We got the same genetics, etc., etc. But yeah, these guys, as far as at this level, for the most part, had just got here, like in the past 3 years or so. Kobe Thicknesse has been around Volkanovski through his whole career, a good chunk of his whole career, and the entirety of his championship career and post-championship career. So Thicknesse has, and been around guys that have been champions. Like, he's been around the Adesanyas and et cetera, and people that have been champion in different walks of life, in different sports and different disciplines, in different weight classes. So yeah, it's a tough fight. Thicknesse is a solid submission grappler. He'll be the longer fighter, taller fighter, and probably got to have the better conditioning for 15 minutes than Topuria. Ilya Topuria himself had kind of questionable cardio when he first came to UFC. Especially when he went in there with somebody that can push him, like Zalal did. And that could be another issue that presents itself for Alexandre Topuria. Like, I feel like he could come out here and having a good fight, but I feel like he could fade, and Thicknesse could maybe snap on a front choke or high-level guillotine on him or something and catch him late in the fight and stop him. Like, this is a very close fight. They match it very evenly. And Kobe Thicknesse actually, has the better background. He has the better resume. So it's a tough fight. They're definitely not giving Alexandre a cakewalk at all. Like, literally at all. But, yeah, I'm going Alexandre Topuria. I think he has been training along his brother. I mean, he has been. Taken from him, he's been growing. I think he's the stronger, better wrestler. Thicknesse is probably the better submission grappler, but I think Topuria can control the position better. And prevent himself from, getting put in weak positions or positions to be threatened with submissions as much. You can probably get these takedowns, get to like half guard, maybe advance to mount. This kind of this more stronger positions. In this fight, a very smart fight. I think Thicknesse will push him and test him. I think this will be a very, very close fight. That really by the end of it could go either way. But I think Topuria will get it done, ever so slightly. He'll probably land the heavier shots. Might probably get a bigger reaction from the shots that he does land. And he'll probably score more takedowns. Matter of fact, he'll probably score all the takedowns. I feel like Thicknesse, his ground is more so going to be reversal, submission attempts, sweeps. More so than actual, like, I picked you up and took you down, or I got a single and took you down, I got a body lock, inside trip. It's more so going to be his grappling work going to be done off of Topuria's work, basically. So I'm like, Topuria's going to be the main one getting all takedowns. Thicknesse might get one takedown at most. Topuria probably get like 3 to 4 takedowns. Topuria probably land the heavier shots. But again, a very close fight. Thicknesse probably land more strikes. Topuria lands bigger strikes. Like, it's going to be, a tale of two sides. Like, what do you like more? Topuria's takedowns or Thicknesse craftiness off the ground with his off his back with submissions. His submission to maybe try to roll for a leg lock, step on guillotines, probably trying to throw up arm bars. Like, we like that more. We like the volume, thickness, the composure, the consistency, or we like the big pops from Topuria, the strong slams, the control. Again, it's gonna be a very close fight in my opinion. As far as I feel like, could foresee it. But I think Topuria wins by a very, very slim margin. So in this one, I have Alexandre Topuria via decision. All right. Now to our next fight. We have in the women's flyweight division, we got Wang versus Brasil. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Wang to beat Brasil. And Wang last fight, it's a reason like to feel confident. There's a reason to not feel confident. Like, she lost the fight obviously, so she should not be a big favorite in this one. That makes sense. But also feel confident because she was still winning that fight against Gabriela Fernandez up until she wasn't. And it's not like Brasil is a big puncher. Like, she's not heavy-handed. She's not like heavy-footed. Like, for the most part, she's not really a big KO finisher. And I think she also has 0 submission wins and barely any takedowns. And I think Wang is a much better striker than her. And I think Brasil has been TKO like 3 times or 2 times at least. And I don't think Wang's going to make the same mistake she made in the last fight. And I think she's not fighting, at least not as dangerous of opponent stylistically. I knew Gabriela Fernandez was dangerous. Like, everybody was like lock. I wouldn't like average in that one. But I knew striking-wise, power-wise, Gabriela Fernandez was a problem. It just was kind of like Wang. Yes, you're a dangerous striker, but Wang is the more accomplished, more technical striker. So she's going to beat you. It wasn't like, oh, this is an easy walkover fight, like everybody else was saying. That's my perspective. But Gabriela Fernandez was able to show why I was so concerned about her. But Brasil, on her side, she does not have the upside. I don't feel like she has no big. I mean, Fernandez wasn't really no big takedown threat, but Brasil also not a takedown threat. And she don't have the power upside that Fernandez has, or the physical size and power of Gabriela Fernandez. So I think, and also Brasil has been again chinned multiple times. I think Wang, and also I don't think she's gonna be as durable as Fernandez. Fernandez took a lot of damage, but she's tough, she's durable, she's big, she's strong. She's able to take damage and find her opening to crack Wang. And when she cracked her, it mattered. But Brasil, I don't think she has the durability nor the power. So I don't think she could take the shots from that Fernandez took. And I don't think she can dish out the damage that Fernandez dished out. That mattered. So I think Wang's going to be a stalker, break it down. Probably fight a little bit more clean, a little bit more composed, not get too confident like she did in her last fight. She's going to learn her lesson. And I think she breaks down Brasil. Smart, slow cooker. Instead of trying to rush her out there in the first round, extend her a little bit, and then cleanly put her away mid to late second round via TKO. So in this one, I got Wang via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Nolan versus Vyacheslav Borshchev. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Vyacheslav Borshchev to beat Nolan. And it's a dangerous fight. Either guy can knock the other guy out, but when we look at Borshchev, like pretty much all of his losses, I would say, matter of fact, probably all of his losses, there was a threat of a takedown involved. Whether he got dropped in his fight, stopped in his fight, or whatever happened, it was always a threat in an implementation of a takedown. And I think it's just about all those fights. Maybe Saudi call fighting was a draw, so that wasn't a loss. But Mike Davis takedowns. what's his name, redhead Mohawk dude takedowns. Um, uh, what's his name? Chase Hooper takedown. So all those fights, when we look at his losses, they do have a pattern. There are takedowns involved. And Nolan has 0% takedown accuracy. And Nolan has terrible striking defense. He fights like a tall man, like he has tall man defense, chin in the air, leans back. And we have seen Vyacheslav Borshchev crack a tall man that, has similar attributes to Nolan. And Micallef, yeah, he picked apart Micallef. It's a striker versus striker matchup. Borshchev, all the fights that he has lost or struggled in, there has been the implementation, really has been the threat in implementation of a takedown threat to great degree in all his losses. I'm not saying he's the greatest striker in all of MMA. I'm not saying he's the greatest striker in lightweight, but based on what I've seen, again, his paths to losing have all been pretty linear. And there has been a pretty clear, distinct correlation between all those losses. And Tom Nolan does not seem to follow that pattern. And I think Vyacheslav Borshchev, at this level, I think he'll likely be the better striker than everyone around the level that he's currently at. Going up, there's going to be better strikers. But at the level that these two are at, I think Vyacheslav Borshchev should be the better striker. Better offense, better defense. I think he'll be able to rip Nolan chew up Nolan's legs, chew up his body, combo from the body, bring him up top, drop Nolan, and put him out second round. So that's what I see in this one. So in this one, I got Vyacheslav Borshchev via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, we got Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Jack. I'm about to say Jack. I'm not going you. I'm going low confidence Gabriel Santos to beat Jack Jenkins. Just leaning with the more well-rounded fighter. That's really it. Both are talented fighters. Both are dangerous, but leaning with the more versatile fighter. I feel like Santos could hold his own with Jenkins on the feet. I feel like he could possibly beat Jenkins on the feet. I would not bet on him to beat Jenkins in a pure striking match. I definitely wouldn't. But this is an MMA fight, and Santos does have the skill to hold his own on him with the feet, and he has a grappling upside as well. And I feel like the difference in their grappling is bigger than the difference in their striking. And even in the fights that Santos did lose, he got thrown into the deep end in his very first couple fights. Like we fought. By the way, Lerone Murphy, a very close fight. You could argue he won, split decision loss. And then David Onama, he was dominating David Onama until he got caught. So he was doing pretty well. And he can mix up against Jenkins. I feel like Jenkins' grappling defense is all good. And Jenkins, despite him being such a finisher coming into the UFC, he really has not been such a great finisher inside the UFC. It took him 3 rounds to stop Herbert Burns. And if you know who Herbert Burns is, that's especially at the point he did fight him, it took you to the 3rd round to stop Herbert Burns. And that's not a good look. Herbert Burns usually be checking out early second round. You take you to the 3rd round. You're supposed to be such a lethal striker, and also you gave up 2 takedowns in that fight. So, the inability to really put Herbert Burns away till late is an issue. The fact he gave up 2 takedowns to Herbert Burns, who's not really even a great takedown artist, is an issue. And I feel like Santos can benefit from that. You're not as lethal of a striker. You're not that great of a finisher at this level yet. So, not to say that Santos can just go in there and just feel lackadaisical, but he could build confidence off of that. Feel confident, let his hands go a little bit to set up his takedowns. And I think it's gonna be a close fight, very close fight. But I'm leaning to the more well-rounded fighter to mix it up, and also draw confidence from his last fight, his last win, and draw confidence from Jenkins' last win. In the fact that Jenkins did give up 2 takedowns. Jenkins did take to the 3rd round to stop a guy who, was looking for a way out. Take you to the 3rd round to stop a guy who was looking for a way out. That's not a good look. And he also could take confidence from the Emmers fight. I feel like Emmers won that fight. I picked Jenkins. I feel like Emmers won that fight. It was a very close fight, but I feel like Emmers won that fight. But that's also a concern why this confidence is low in this one, because it could be a repeat. This could be the Emmers fight 2.0, where Emmers, again, the more well-rounded fighter, he held his own on feet with Jenkins, and plus had the grappling upside and grappling success that should have leaned the fight to him, but the judges saw it the other way. And that could easily be this fight where it's close enough, and this other fighter has done, everything that should have rewarded him a win, but he didn't go the extra mile. He didn't land 10 more significant strikes. He landed 5 more significant strikes, landed 2 more takedowns. But he should have landed 10 more significant strikes and got 4 more takedowns and probably 5 minutes of control time. Where you won clear enough, but it wasn't clear enough for the judges. I can see that being a way this fight goes. But I've already pretty much said what I said. lean into the more well-rounded fighter here in Gabriel Santos to be able to mix it up and grind out a decision over Jack Jenkins, who is largely just a striker. So in this one, I have Gabriel Santos via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jake Matthews to beat Francisco Prado. Prado's coming up from lightweight. He doesn't really have a whole wealth of experience and wins inside the UFC. His only win is over Azaitar, who was coming off a knockout loss. And outside that, he's 0-2. Like, he beat Azaitar, lost to Malarkey, lost to Zellhuber. But he showed valiant efforts in both those fights, but it is what it is. He lost both fights. And I think the stat that sticks out most to me in this fight is the fact that Prado has 25% takedown defense ratio. And Matthews, if he wants to, I feel like he could have great success taking down Prado. I have not really seen Prado show any really great takedown defense. And obviously that's for a reason, because he has 25% takedown. If he had shown great takedown defense or any good takedown defense, he would not have 25% takedown defense ratio. And it's also not like Prado is such a big finisher in the UFC yet. He fought with one of the chiniest lightweights in Malarkey, and I don't think he ever really even had him hurt in that fight. And Malarkey was able to mix it up and limit his striking exchanges with him. And I think Jake Matthews can do similar. And Jake Matthews, throughout his UFC career, has not really officially been knocked out. There was the Kevin Lee takedown, took his back and pounded him out. But as far as someone like knocking him out or standing TKO, that has never happened for Jake Matthews. So he only has one TKO loss on his record in the UFC. And that was more a positional TKO than like an actual, like, you know, somebody putting the paws on him and knocking him out or going to his body and dropping him, or, you know, just, I don't know, dropping him and then finishing him on the ground. That has not been the case. So Matthews has shown a sturdy chin, and he has like over a dozen UFC fights, and he has been in UFC for like a decade. So he has been in with some heavy hitters. He has been dropped mostly against Semelsberger, who was a big welterweight with big power, but again has not been stopped. So another good sign for Matthews. Sturdy chin, more well-rounded, more experience, still right in his prime. Prado's probably 5 years shy from his prime. So I think this is a good position for Matthews to come out here and win. He's also fighting on what I believe home soil. So he has a lot of reasons to win. Like, he's in his prime, more well-rounded, on home soil. And I think he'll be able to mix it up and take advantage of that 25% takedown defense ratio from Prado and grind out a decision over the young green fighter in Prado. And also, this is also a weight class he has had fights in, whereas this is like Prado's first real fight at welterweight, and against the maybe by far the biggest test of his career, in my opinion. So in this one, I got Jake Matthews via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, we got Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Rodolfo Bellato to beat Jimmy Crute. Yes, the chin of Bellato concerns me a lot, but it's going to be hard to get behind Crute, who's riding like a 3-4 fight losing streak. And well, he hasn't won in like 5 years, I think. Been inactive, been losing, coming off submission loss. Bellato is chinny, but the shot that Bellato did get caught with in a couple of these fights, I feel like it's not really that much in Crute's arsenal. And I feel like a lot of Crute shots that he does land with power, a lot of them are him reaching. And I don't feel like that's the issue. I feel like you got to catch Bellato like short and on the inside most times, like a counter check hook, or, you know, when he's crowding. Yeah, it's more like an inside hook that he's kind of open for. He's open for a lot of stuff, but as far as like what I feel Crute or what people have been able to catch him with is like kind of like these shorter inside hooks. And yeah, I don't feel like Crute really has that in his arsenal so much. And I think Bellato is the much better grappler, bigger. They're both the same age, so it's not like Crute has some age advantage or disadvantage. Bellato has the momentum. Bellato's been more active. Not very active, but he's been more active. More successful. And yeah, I think he'll be able to touch Crute with some power, mixing the takedowns, use his size, and break down Crute. And I'm looking at a second round submission for Rodolfo Bellato. So in this one, I have Rodolfo Bellato via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Teixeira versus Justin Tafa. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Teixeira to beat Justin Tafa. All these picks are going to be low confident, but I would say Teixeira is definitely, I guess, one of the least low confident picks of the card. He's not top 2, I don't think, but he's not bottom 2. But yeah, Taliesin Teixeira to beat Tafa. He's very green. He could have a good ceiling, but he's very green. Tafa definitely is the more experienced striker, more experienced, much more UFC experience. Well, much more experienced UFC fighter. Yeah, those all are true. But yeah, going Taliesin Teixeira. He's like 6'7", had like 83.5-inch reach. Justin Tafa's only 6 feet tall. I think he had like a 74-inch reach. So he have a lot of height and a lot of length over Tafa, riding better momentum. But he does gotta be concerned about his defense. But nonetheless, I think he'll be able to prevail against Tafa. I think he'll be able to make the adjustment. I feel like I'm not gonna expect no difference from Tafa. The Tafa we have seen is the Tafa I think we'll get, in my opinion. With Taliesin Teixeira, no, he looked a little raw. He looked a little green in the last fight. He still had the power. I mean, he's always gonna have that length. It's genetics, but yeah, like he has the raw tangibles. Like the power is there, the length's there, the technique's coming along, and I can see him looking a lot better. Tafa, I think, regardless of what Teixeira brings, he's gonna be trying to rely on his experience, and that's about it. Maybe try to catch him throwing, catch him in the in between. But I think Taliesin Teixeira will make the right adjustments, knowing that he's fighting an experienced UFC fighter, knowing he's going in with a heavy hitter, and use his length to his full advantage and break apart Tafa from distance. And also, not like Tafa has the greatest defense either. So I think Teixeira will be able to use that huge height, use that huge length, use those natural gifts, and look to break down Tafa. And I say mid-second round TKO over Tafa. I think he'll be able to break him down with his length and his power and his size and be able to put Tafa away in the second round. But I think it'll be a hotly contested fight up until that point. A fight definitely you're going to be on pins and needles. But I think Teixeira was able to get it done. And is able to use his, again, height, youth, length, and power to break down Tafa and put him away in the second round. So in this one, I have Taliesin Teixeira via second round TKO. Now to our co-main event. We have in the women's strawweight division for the undisputed UFC strawweight championship, we got reigning champion Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. And I'm going to have to go with Tatiana Suarez here. Not a whole lot of confidence. I might not even bet this one, but I'm going Tatiana Suarez. And odds are actually very respectful for her right now. I think it's like pick 'em right now. It shouldn't be, in my opinion. I'm picking Suarez, but I feel like they could even go minus 200 Weili Zhang or minus 300 Weili Zhang. You know, it'll kind of be a little bit disrespectful to Suarez, but given what Weili Zhang has accomplished and with the streak she is on and the way she's looking, I feel like it would be warranted. I feel like this should be like, oh, you going with a big dog. I feel like me picking Suarez should be a big dog, but it's not. It's like a pick 'em. But yeah, very, very close fight. And in my honest opinion, I feel like Zhang should be the favorite, if not even a big favorite here, in my opinion. But who am I picking? I am picking Suarez. Suarez to win. Yeah, like both in the case, both of them in some case have never really fought a fighter like the other. Suarez has never fought someone the level of Zhang. There are not very many women on the level of Zhang, like with Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko, Ronda Rousey, Joanna, maybe Rose Namajunas. Again, like only like a handful of women in the women's MMA history are on the level that Weili Zhang is. So Suarez has not fought no one on that level yet, because there aren't very many. Really, what the only one there maybe Namajunas, Valentina, and Zhang. There's really not no one else for her to really fight that could say, oh, that's the person that's on the level of Zhang. Yeah, there's not many people. So this is her biggest step up by far in her career. And for Weili Zhang, she has never fought a wrestler the level of Suarez and the size of Suarez. So both of them are going to have to, address some big questions. My biggest concern with Suarez here is not her wrestling, it's not her striking. It's more so her cardio and her injuries and, her inexperience going 5 rounds. How will her cardio hold up? How will her injuries held up? Yeah, I'm not too concerned about striking. If she, as we see with Rob, you could go very far with having, limited striking. He definitely has worked on his striking a lot, but it's still very limited. And he just beats people with his relentless wrestling. Same with Khabib. Striking never really developed that much, but his wrestling is so strong that he was able to dominate. So it's not like Suarez has to come in here and be such a new world-class striker. She just has to make sure what she's good at and what got her to the dance is, equipped to use it for 25 minutes if needed. But, tough fight. I'm going Suarez. Should be the underdog, so I hope she is an underdog pick. I hope I can get her at underdog value. Because last I checked, she was picking, but I know the odds gonna shift against her, hopefully, so I can get in there and get her at a good dog value. But yeah, and to not run around the block so much with this one. Yeah, reading for Alina Suarez, a bit of a dice roll, a bit of that. And then another thing, Weili Zhang overall her career has, well, her UFC career has 50% takedown defense, which is not a good sign. She has not fought very many people looking to wrestle her, looking to wrestle her. I think the only wrestler, why am I speaking like this? The only wrestler she has fought was Carla Esparza. She did pass it with flying colors. But yeah, like, of the 12 times people tried to take her down, 6 of those were successful. So she has been taken down 50% of times. In her last fight, she was taken down 3 of 3 times. Against Rose Namajunas, she was taken down 2 of 2 times. And also in the Rose fight, when it was a fight when they both did wrestle heavy, like Zhang looked to wrestle heavy in that fight, Rose wrestled a lot in that fight. Zhang did look fatigued in that fight. And even in her last fight against Zhao Nanyan, she looked fatigued in that fight. So fights where she does heavily grapple, like whether it's her just alone grappling or her opponents both grappling, it did show fatigue in Zhang. And I know that's a concern for Suarez, but it might even be a bigger concern for Zhang. Zhang's cardio looks great when she's just striking, but maybe she has not really fully adjusted to having like great grappling cardio. So Suarez, at the least, if they both get exhausted, Suarez at her core, you shut her brain off, her body's automatically going to wrestle. Zhang at her core is not a grappler. So if Suarez can really make this an exhausting fight where Zhang has to defend multiple takedowns and she starts to visibly fatigue like she did in her fight against Rose and her fight against Zhao Nanyan, Suarez definitely comes alive in this fight. But yeah, I think Suarez can exploit that lack of takedown defense. I think Suarez is by far the best wrestler grappler she has ever fought, and I think Suarez is at least top 3 fighters that Zhang herself has ever fought. So they both are fighting one of the best fighters that they have ever fought by far. It's not like Suarez did some can getting a gift. Suarez deserves to be here, at least by her skill and talent. She hasn't been that busy, but yeah, Zhang's gonna be a threat. Definitely the better overall fighter, the more well-rounded fighter. But yeah, I think Suarez can expose that hole and exploit it. Make some takedowns in, exhaust Zhang with her takedowns and her top control, and really smother Zhang. But again, a very competitive fight. I think it's gonna be a tough, gritty fight, won by the slimmest of margins. I think both gonna be exhausted down the threat. Why am I talking like that? But yeah, both exhausted down the stretch of the fight, the final stretches of the fight. But Suarez edging it ever so slightly, probably getting a late crucial takedown and edging the fight. But yeah, probably we'll have like 2 rounds of good control time. Prior round where it's like a toss up, split decision type vibes here I'm getting. But I think Suarez gets it done, decision victory, and becomes the new champion. But again, a very close fight. A great champion versus a great challenger, but Suarez gets it done and then new. So in this one, I have Tatiana Suarez via decision. Now to our main event, we have a rematch in the middleweight division. We get for the UFC middleweight championship, the undisputed UFC middleweight championship. We got Dricus du Plessis versus Strickland II. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence, Dricus du Plessis to beat Strickland again. So last fight, I picked Strickland to win. I thought he won the last fight, in my opinion. So it seems odd, why are you going with Dricus du Plessis? But I guess the biggest thing I could draw from this fight, or draw in this prediction, is the fact that Strickland does have a pattern. And it might not be the pattern that you're leaning to. Like, well, he jabs. He 1-2s you the whole night. Yeah, we all see that. 1-2, teep kick. Teep kick, 1-2. Jab, teep kick. Like, not too much variation. Sloppy, slappy hook. Like, not too much variation with him. But forward pressure, shoulder rolling, 1-2 you spam all day long. But that's not the pattern I'm talking about. The pattern I'm talking about is pattern of losing. And I think the pattern of losing for Strickland that has been most consistent in his losses have been a guy that's, refuses to really accept the back foot and is going to threaten with takedowns and push him back and throw volume. Strickland loves to be the guy pushing you forward. He loves to be the guy pushing you back, but he himself does not like to be pushed back. He does not do well with that. Like some people, they can do that, but then off their back foot, they're good as well. Not to say that Strickland is bad off his back foot, but that's where he has struggled. That's where he has lost. Like Jared Cannonier might not be the most technical striker, but he didn't really allow Sean Strickland to just walk him down all the time. Like he had Sean Strickland respecting his power. He would walk Sean Strickland down. He would land the heavier shots, or he would at least throw the heavier shots a lot of times. Maybe not landing clean, but he would push Sean Strickland back. He would throw heavy shots, and he would not allow Sean Strickland to just walk him back. Cannonier beat him. Dricus, say what you will, sloppy fight, but at a lot of points he was the one pushing Sean Strickland back. He was the one mixing takedowns. Kamaru Usman pushing him back, mixing the takedowns, dominated him. And that's like 3 of his losses right there. Kamaru Usman, and then other guys, he got knocked out a couple times. We got knocked out one time. But again, that was a case where he was getting pushed. In all those fights, all of his losses, he was getting pushed back. Including his loss with Dricus du Plessis. No matter how close it was, just like the du Plessis fight was close, just like the Cannonier fight was close, he lost both those fights. And again, the theme in all of his losses really is when guys don't allow him to just push them back. And they, in turn, push him back, threaten with takedowns, and swarm him. And Dricus does that, and he does that well. It might not be the prettiest thing, but he does that. And I think he'll do the similar here. I think it'll be yet another close fight. I think Dricus du Plessis comes out on top. And I also think he'll be cleaner this fight. I feel like his last fight, I feel like his offense really wasn't that clean. Like, it still got the job done in the close decision victory. But I think he'll be more accurate, more effective. And I think this will be, yet again, another close competitive fight. But I don't think it'll be a case where Dricus du Plessis comes on kind of later. Like, I feel like last fight, Dricus du Plessis kind of took like 2 rounds to really start landing shots flush. And Strickland kind of had a good start, in my opinion, at least from off my memory. But I feel like Dricus from the start will make this fight competitive, and they'll push each other from round 1 to round 5. There might be dips in du Plessis' cardio, as it always is, but at those dips, he turns it right back up. And he's going to turn it back up, when it matters. Close fight. But Dricus, and another thing with Strickland, like another thing with Strickland is like, he could train all he wants, but what really is Strickland going to change? Do you expect Strickland to really do anything different? Like, is he going to sit on his punches more? Is he going to look to make the shots that he does throw with power matter more? Like, I might throw the 2, but this time I'm gonna be looking for the temple. I'm gonna be looking for the tip of the chin. I'm gonna be looking to sit on the 2 and hit it somewhere where it's hard. Well, not hard. Hit him somewhere where it's gonna really matter. Not really. Strickland is a cardio kickboxer. I'm not really expecting much different in this fight. He's gonna train hard. He's gonna try to push the pace. They're gonna try to outwork du Plessis. But yeah, historically, regardless of what Strickland has done, when a guy really pushes Strickland, he has lost, I think, just about every single one of those fights. The fight Strickland has benefited is when guys have accepted the back foot, guys didn't have the cardio to really work with, keep up the work rate with Strickland. Du Plessis has the cardio, he has the grappling, and he has the tenacity and the dog to push Strickland back for 25 minutes and mix him up. So yeah, close fight again, but I do think that Dricus du Plessis does have the recipe, and he does have the style, and he does implement that style that has beaten Sean Strickland in all of his fights. So I see this going the distance again, and I see du Plessis get his hand raised again in yet another close fight. So in this one, I have Dricus du Plessis via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions. Well, let me run through the fights again very, very, very quickly. So first fight, Hyung-Soo Park via decision. Next fight, Quillian Salkilld via second round TKO. Third fight, Kevin Jousset via third round TKO. Next fight, Cody Steele via decision. Next fight, Alexandre Topuria via decision. Next fight, Kong Wang via second round TKO. Next fight, Vyacheslav Borshchev via second round TKO. Next fight, Gabriel Santos via decision. Jake Matthews via decision. Rodolfo Bellato via second round submission. Taliesin Teixeira via second round TKO. Tatiana Suarez via decision. And last but not least, Dricus du Plessis via decision. And yeah, that concludes the full card of predictions for UFC 312, du Plessis versus Strickland II. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace out.